how many times must a Broskiedoodle disclaim these are not facts? Right?
Hey, every time that you watch our episodes, at the bottom there's a link with all the fact checks, with all the links to all the sources that we have, and
all
everything is 100%.
We talked about. Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I've been supposed to be putting links.
Like every time one of us says something, we're like, so I heard this thing on an interview. Like, I don't remember. Like one time it was a thing.
One the other day.
Steven is like, for real? It's like, yeah, I do, believe me. It said that 3 out of 5 women hate men.
Are actually men.
Yeah.
Okay, no, bro, like, for real. Talking about the podcast, this baby of yours. Where it come from? Like, I know, Kiko, you touched on it before. You're a proud podcaster, right? You listen to a lot. You view a lot, too. I remember you saying that you put it while you're playing video games. And then Steve, you're like, I'm not really into it, right? You're like, whatever. So how did such like different forces, I guess, end up being this?
Kigo?
You want me to start?
Yeah, you go.
Well, I think it's funny because back in the day, me and Steven, I know that this is going to sound like very bromance, but back in the day when me and Steven used to chill like in high school, we used to like, have our little crew, and we would like drink and we would like say jokes, and me and Steven would always be on point with like the comments, right? With like somebody would say something and I would be quick to be like, fuck with him, and then Steven would catch it and he would like also go
keep it going.
So there was always this dynamic, right? Like this chemistry that we had where we knew how to click on funny moments and enhance them. But at that time there was no platform to like do this. It was just chilling with your friends and stuff. And it was very weird recently, like less than 6 months ago. Me and Steven kept in touch. We've always been great friends. So I just hit him up. I think it was just like, just say hi or some shit. Oh, actually, I hit you up about a song, right?
Yeah, so you were working on a song at the time. But recently, before this, you had come from Spain to Miami for around the time of Art Basel. So it kind of like restarted our friendship. We've always had a friendship, and we were always like distant. But then I guess it was like our communication was happening after you came back. Our communication happened more often, and then especially because the pandemic broke out first in Italy and then kind of made its way over to Spain. We started like checking in on each other and like, hey, are you okay? How's everything going over there? And then we, everything was stay-at-home orders at that time. So it was like, dude, I'm sitting on my ass. I'm not really doing anything. I'm trying to work, but like nobody's really buying anything. So it's like I couldn't do anything. And you are fortunate enough to be working from home, but in the travel industry. So we were talking about how that was affecting your work and your life. And it was like, dude, I don't know. Actually, this part kind of is foggy to me a little bit. Kegel, what?
I do know. I do know what happened.
It's funny. We don't know what happened. But we just ended up here. Shit.
I wanted to hear you because I don't want to like maybe me having like a wrong view of what happened. But yeah, it was pretty much like I called him because I was like, hey, dude, I was working on a song, right? And the song it had English rap in it, right?
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
I do mostly Spanish, so I was like, who can I trust on this shit? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna call Steven because I want him to like listen to the rap and tell me like, okay, does it sound well, or are you pronouncing some words like a fucking like you just arrived from the boat?
Easel, bro.
Yeah, Easel. So I was just like, hey, dude. He gave me some like tips, some stuff, some pointers, and and then I was just like talking to him. I'm like, hey, yo, bro, I've always been wanting to do like a podcast, and I just think like you just hit me like you're that person that I've always like we could really do this shit. And I was just like, he's just gonna be like, what the fuck, like like
yeah.
I don't even think Steven really had clear what a podcast was.
I didn't know what I was signing up for before. Officially. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of fucked him over. I was just like, hey,
too
dude,
late now, bro.
You wanna do a podcast with me? He's like, well, no, but for real, dude, it's like, don't worry about it. It's gonna be, well, I mean, all right, bro. Every Sunday we're gonna meet for 3 hours. I hope your girl's okay with that. And that's pretty.
Yeah. Bro, let me tell you something. The fact that both your girls are like, go do you, that's pretty nice. Because I know some women out there could be very bitchy. 3 hours on a Sunday, that's prime time, baby.
Yeah,
prime time.
it is.
No, yeah. I do my best during the week as much as I can, you know. And she's a night owl, so sometimes at 3 a.m, I mean, not so much anymore, but before, oh yeah, she'd be FaceTiming somebody for hours and hours and hours, and so it was kind of like a perfect thing. I was looking at Kiko, and I'm like, dude, like, I got time. Hell yeah, I got time. Let's go. And then he told me all these responsibilities I had to do, and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck did I say?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
He's like,
Never
hey,
mind.
dude. So you remember when we said that you're like half of the podcast, right? So that
Right.
comes with some things, bro. I need you to clean the office on Tuesdays.
HR, payroll.
But you know, it's one thing that is not really clear unless you go see literally the only first episode of the Broskiedoodles podcast. It was not called the Broskiedoodles back then, and it was like a pirate. It was like a pirate podcast.
Right,
we wanted
right.
it to be the pirate podcast, and yeah, and it was because, well, the reason why is because it was we could not find a name. There was no name available. It was, I mean, it's like trying to put your name at gmail.com. Like, good luck with that, right?
Yeah.
It was just all taken, and then I don't know, we were just texting back and forth one day.
We were making shit up like,
It was
dude, the Cosmics
desperate.
Brostonauts, like
What? Roast the nuts.
we were just like making up shit. Like every day I was just like, hey dude, did you think of names? He's like, oh fuck, come on bro, you gotta think of these names. And then I think one day I hit him up, right? And I'm always like thinking of like weird shit to call people, like, you know, like just things, like I'm just fucking, you know. And then I just texted him one day. I'm like, hey Broskiedoodle, have you thought of names?
Oh,
Something like that.
He's like,
And-
hey dude, we're gonna call this. So,
yeah, I was like, dude, like, I mean, we're trying so hard to make this name, and I'm like, dude, I want it to be casual enough for people to understand, and the name kind of has to translate to what we're talking about, right? Like, our podcast is predominantly us hanging out and talking, right? And who do you hang out with? Your bros, your dudes, your girl, you know what I mean? Your dudettes, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we are all like, and doodle kind of makes it fun, right? So it's like the Broskiedoodles, and nobody had it. Not Instagram, not Twitter, not fucking, nobody had it. And I was like,
yeah, that was a
might
big
be
factor.
This might be it right here.
But you know what's the funny part is, like,
So
when you talk about, okay, so who created it? I said it, but if Steven wouldn't have said anything, it would have passed, like, and it would have been buried in the history, in the sands of history, like. But it was so weird, like how he was like, wait up, this is like, you just said this spontaneously, right? To call me like your friend. It's like, this is exactly what we're looking for. And then it fucking clicked and it worked. And then it was strange enough where like nobody had it. It was like,
You
perfect.
guys dig it.
yeah, and it was
I
fun.
gotta say, sometimes I call it broski noodle, just because I say it too fast, and I'm like, oh, the broski noodle. Wait,
For all those
noodle.
Asian noodle companies.
Hey,
Representing.
you udon, I'm down for the ramen.
Our own brand of ramen. The
I will
Broski
eat the
noodles.
fucking ramen on the show. I
The
promise.
noodles with the noodles.
Chopsticks. I will do it.
Bro, I'm telling you, dog, this is gonna be a sponsor, or we're just gonna make like our own noodles.
Somebody gotta sponsor us, bro. I'm drinking another La Crosse, so bro, here we go.
La
I
Crosse.
say we-
Come on, sending us some money.
Imagine La Crosse ends up like suing us. He's like, what the fuck?
Oh my god, like stop putting our name with your opinions, you
All
fucking
right.
trash.
You guys are fucking disgusting, and you're racist. But imagine like Cross is like, no, we're trying to get like your sponsor. No, you motherfuckers are being
fuck
sued.
you. We're taking your computers for life. You don't have access to a camera or a microphone ever again.
Sometimes I feel like I shouldn't, but I do.
But yeah,
so it
and
all
then
started with this like beautiful conversation, but then how did it progress to like as what you guys have today? Like, cause you guys have your shit together, right?
There was
Together-ish
a learning curve. I think one thing that saved us the most is that Kiko's already a production artist, an artist that puts like has his gear. I didn't even realize he had a camera, because at the end of the day I really more thought of him as a audio artist, right? But then he told me, no, I got this camera, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, because my girlfriend and I have a photo, film and design company, And so
Wow.
I have this nice camera that I don't really use. I do it. I'm just a camera guy. Like I just do it. Hey, what do you want me to go shoot? Oh, we're shooting a wedding this weekend. Well, we're shooting a baby shower. We're doing this. We're doing that. Whatever. Yeah, I'll shoot it. You edit it. I'm not really doing any of that. You edit it. That was my relationship with these items, these products. And then I used to sell audio gear, so I just had this shit laying around. I literally just had this shit laying around. I bought this little stand. I had these headphones, whatever, this and that. But then, little by little, I started the first episodes. I was using the Apple wired headphones until I got until I realized I had this laying around. And Kiko, you what did you get, a light? What did you not have, or what did you start having?
To be honest, I had everything, and I guess it did help. It definitely helped that I was already doing this for a minute. And I had gotten into film in the last few years because I was like with my music career, it's always been like, all right, I want to make music. All right, I'll get a guitar. Perfect. I'm making music. All right, this is amazing. All right, I want people to listen to my music. What do I need to do? Oh, you need to record it. And how do I record it? You need to go to a studio. And what do they ask for? Money. Fuck. I was just like, man, I can't do this shit. I'm like 15. I don't got money,
bro.
So then it's like, oh no, but there's these little things that you attach to a computer and then you can record yourself. It's like, all right, so I guess I gotta learn how to record myself. All right, let's learn how to do that shit. So then I have been fucking learning how to record myself for years. Now I have it. It's like, oh yeah, but people don't really give a fuck about the audio. They want to see a video. It's like, and how do I get a video? Oh, you need to get a producer and all this shit. Fuck, so I gotta learn how to do this shit too. And so then I started learning how to film myself, how to edit it, and I started putting out some music videos. And I've been learning. If you look at it, it's been very but I had it all, and I had already the editing experience. So then when it came up, I was like, Steven, do you happen to have a good camera? He's like, well, actually, me and my
now that you ask.
Yeah, me and my girl have
bro, that doesn't happen. I'm like, I got some my busted ass phone.
and we both had super really good cameras, and it just made it easier to present our new product with a good quality. And then you can see a learning curve, but it is fair to say that we started in a good place already, and then we just kept polishing, and we're still learning. It's a 2-man show, literally. Mm-hmm. So it's I fired my makeup assistant last week, so it's really just me and Steven.
Yeah.
We got rid of her.
Yeah, no, I remember Selena got killed by her assistant back in the day, so I'm like, fuck that.
Fuck that. Fuck everybody.
You guys remember that shit? You guys, Selena? I don't know why you just remember that, but that she got killed by her assistant. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I saw them. Is it Selena or Selma or Selena? Selena. Yeah.
Oh, it's because he was saying it in English. I'm like, I feel like I know her, but I don't know. And then he said Selena. I'm like,
Yeah, for real.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Selena.
Selena.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it like you said, it's just a learning curve, and we're still learning. I mean, I guess my next thing would be social media. As we're here, we're there, we have all the handles, but we're it's just that's gonna be the next thing. We were trying to figure out.
Not perfection.
We didn't know how to do a guest. I mean, before the platform that we're using now, we had people trying to videotape themselves the same way we are. But then how do you get that to, how do you do that properly, and how do you do it with no latency, and how do you, we were like 3, 2, 1, record. Okay, go, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like there was a lot more to it then. So,
it was
I
already
would love to see
complicated.
some behind the scenes back then, bro.
We'll show you because we have some.
We're not wearing pants in most of our episodes. This is all just top.
We gotta show you some episodes that never got released. But me and Steve, it never made it to. Let's just say HR didn't sign off on him.
Yeah.
But that we didn't even know how we could have guests, and then now we're able to have guests like yourself, where you don't really have to do anything on your side.
Oh, no, it's great.
We wanted to make it easier for the people that came on, because they're not in this world of film. So. And this now we have a software, and little by little we're learning of ways to connect to different people in a very good and quality way. Because that's the problem. If you have a Zoom call, you can have a Zoom call with 200 people at a time, but it's just gonna be shit audio. And in your case, I didn't even know this because I like to watch podcasts a lot, but you listen to them because it's a great way to you're exercising, you're doing that, so you put them on, and it's just you use your dead time to at least entertain and learn a little. And for me, coming from an audio perspective, because I do music, I wanted to have a good audio on it. So that's also one thing that drove us to like make it all just sound really nice. And we're still, you know, getting better at it. But that was like the whole idea of it, of making it a good quality. Like, we were like, we're pretty shitty already, so let's make everything else good.
And like at least sound good and look good, bro.
Yeah. That's the only thing we can control.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's been a fun ride, and I continue. And I mean, my goal is to hit 100 episodes and look back and be like, well, like that shit was fun. Let's do it again, you know, and again and again. So.
Oh, I thought he was gonna be like, yeah, well, I'm
me
out
too.
after 100. I'm looking at Kiko like, okay, bro, you better slow it down.
No,
I was about
just
to be
wanted
like,
to.
hey, Daniela, do you want to join the Broskiedoodles?
Get the fuck out of here, Steve.
He's like,
You got commitment issues.
I want to reach to 100 episodes,
Oh, man,
retire,
you got rid of him. He just
look
left.
back. And
Can't
be
get
like,
rid of me.
Damn, that was a fun ride. All right, Kiko, well, I love you, bro.
Okay, Kiko, well, that was great, bro. Handshake.
No, but isn't it cool? Like, I mean, I don't know, like with especially you, Kiko. I don't know if Daniela, you probably have some sort of hobbies, right? You're not like a cave person or something. So you probably.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but like you look back and you're like,
Sometimes
dang, like, I
in
could
the
do that.
morning it looked like it, bro. And that's my boyfriend. Oh.
But you look back and you're like, dang, like I was part of that project. I want to be part of that
That's
project.
fun.
I've never had that, I guess is what I'm saying. Like I've always just been floating by and being told what to do, but being part of something that was created from nothing. Like I've always been interested in working for a startup company, right? So this is kind of like that transition. I'm like, yeah, you know, oh, so what did you do? Oh, I have a podcast. I got from 0 followers to 100,000 followers. So you know what I mean? And you're like, you gain those skills, and you're like, oh, you know. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think
Learn
it's
that.
pretty cool. I agree with you.
And you
So
know
how many
something?
followers do you guys got? Like, have you seen any, like, people, like, you know, really follow you guys and follow what you say? Do you, like, how
I
do you
mean, to
guys, do
be
you feel like
honest,
you have an obligation to the followers and the listeners?
I wish I could give you a lot more, but we're so at
It
the
don't
beginning
matter.
of it. We got like 40 subscribers, and
Dude, that's a lot of people. I don't know
we
40 people.
got, on Instagram, we have a lot more just because of the dynamics of how Instagram works. But I'm trying to bring the people. So that's another thing that we're like studying. Like, how do I bring people where they get together? Because a lot of people don't just watch YouTube. A lot of people are stuck on their apps. So the idea is, okay, we have a lot of more reach in Instagram. How can we get them to YouTube? So I'm starting to put a lot of clips on Instagram of good quality, and I think
I've seen those.
because like I started to think, okay, what can I, like, how would I want it to be? Like, I would, if I was to watch a podcast on Instagram right away, I'm like, oh shit, this is good, I can visit it, instead of like putting a photo where it's like, oh, come see our podcast.
Yeah,
people,
for sure.
People are so lazy, and so like there's so much content out there and there's so much competition that if someone has to click, like just do an extra
If you gotta
click,
give me a lot of work, I'm not doing it for
yeah,
sure.
if I need to do one extra click for you, then get the fuck out of here. But if you're in my feed and I see the conversation start and I'm like, oh, I like this, let me see the rest of it. So that's the little nerve that you're trying to hit. And we're at an age where I don't think we're really savvy at like the new apps, right? Like I find myself to be more like an old soul. So I even have less of a connection with these apps. So for me, it's an adventure of trying to find that balance where you're still being real, you still have integrity, but you're also taking advantage of these things that social network and all that. So, and another thing is, when going back to why we started this, is like, for a minute, I just can't shut the fuck up about things that I notice on a day-to-day basis, right? And my girlfriend was gonna fucking suicide or some shit, and I was just like, I need to talk to some people and let this out.
I need to rant.
Yeah.
Bro,
And-
yeah, sometimes y'all just need to, you know, my boyfriend
And
does the same thing. He comes home ranting, and I'm like, shut up. So this is a good platform for you.
Yeah,
And then
not,
you come,
the people
you're
who
like,
deal
people
with you
like
all the
you.
time don't want to hear you all the time.
People like you hear it, and you're like, fuck, I have some opinions on this shit and that shit. And I think the good thing about this podcast and this new thing, because this is all new, is that you can have little niche. Like, you don't have to be like super successful and famous and all this, but you have a little club where people get together and talk shit and about things. And we need a lot more of that, I think, for the society to improve, because we have so much civil unrest, we have so much clash between, for example, in the US, but in the world, like the left, the right, that, I mean, yeah, we're the Broskiedoodles, we're here to have fun and shoot the shit, but we're also trying to hit on topics that are important, and get people to at least think about it. And we're not always right, but we're being honest about like our thought process. And I think it's important for America and the whole world to unite, for us to have more conversations, like, you know, not just the Broskiedoodles, but everyone. Like, we gotta talk to people, and if you don't agree with somebody, you don't have to fucking hate them. You can talk and like try to find a middle point, because we need to live with each other. So I guess tolerance. I mean, maybe I'm getting too intellectual here with this, but at the end of it, in the essence of it, it is us trying to like find tolerance in the world, and people come together. So I guess to put it with a bow on top, that's what the Broskiedoodles is. Would you agree, Steve Ski?
That's us in a nutshell. I'm trying to think if there's any outlying information. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to just be able to have a conversation with somebody, and I don't find that even the people you love. Like I love my girlfriend, I love my brother, I love everybody. But sometimes I can't have conversations like this with my mom, because like my mom will think, oh wow, like, you know, like they'll like try to go deeper and like deeper than the actual like topic I want to touch on, right? Or like she'll like, well, why is he thinking about girls so much? Or like, you know, and really I'm just talking about like women inequality, like, oh, why does he care? You know, about it's just that's not how it is. But I'm just saying that people like to go somewhere else when we as friends usually friends have an understanding of like, okay, like let's just talk about this. We could stay right here. I don't have to think about you in any other light. And that is what gets me whatever off my chest, right? So sorry for the rant there. So that's what it is.
Look at you guys. You guys have like, it's such a cute little heart behind Broskiedoodles.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I actually enjoy this segment because you're right. Nobody really knows what the Broskiedoodles, how we came to be. They're going to see a page full of decently good recorded content and be like, who are these people, you know? And they'll never know.
Yeah. Who the fuck is this guy to tell me what the fuck universal basic income is?
Right, exactly.
Who are these guys with 40 subscribers and a hell of a production behind them?
Right, exactly.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Exactly. So thank you for bringing that to light.
No, I like it. I always wondered, because like you guys just started it. I'm like, I mean, I'm digging it, but like, where the fuck? You know,
that's kind of precisely what we talked about in our last episode, where like women and men do things a little bit differently. It's funny that like me and Kiko are thinking like, all right, what else should we talk about? Like, what do the people want to know? And maybe like we don't know. We never thought about emotionally being connected to our viewership. Like you've just put them here with us, type of thing. So that's kind of cool.
Aw. I hope we get some like hearts on this. Like,
definitely.
That's cute. That was cute. That was a cute.
YouTube should have a little heart button. Fuck.
Right?
Definitely.
One of those. Bro, there's so many like media things, and it's hard. It must be hard having a podcast, because like I go to my phone and there's a podcast, podcast app. I just click it and I just search for you guys, and that's it. But I know there's like a whole bunch of places you guys can be and not be. You don't have to pay, right? Or do you?
You mean you to listen to us, or us to be?
You to be.
Yeah, we do have to pay a little bit, but it ain't that much. To be honest, like we talked about this on a podcast. For people that want to start one, we always encourage it, and it's actually it's super easy.
The buy-in is very low.
Very so low. That's really important, because nowadays I love it that you have that. It's a low cost to entry to this. You know, there's a lot more competition. There's a lot of more people, but then there's also more room, I think, because like you have these niche groups of people that are interested in certain things, and I think you have more market for it. So and you know, one thing like that, Daniela started listening to our podcast, and then she sort of let me know about it as well when I told her that I had a podcast. I think that's when she found out. and I didn't. She was like, she told me one day, she's like, oh, I was listening to this, but I want to watch it because it seems like this was funny. Like the time when the lights went out here. Remember?
Bro, the audio was like a mess. I was like, oh my god, I can only imagine. Steve, you kept going with the episode for like 5 minutes. He's like, all right, well, I guess you're all gonna listen to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I was just like, I'm gonna keep on recording.
That was good of you.
And those
My
times,
Broskiedoodle, bro. That's a Broskiedoodle at heart.
we had no backup plans, nothing. It was just like, and then so when I came back on that episode, Steve was like really like, oh fuck, what the fuck? Like, he's back. He's like, dude, I'm with my phone now. Hello.
So I don't know if you ever did you get a chance to. I know you heard it, but did you get a chance to watch it? Because like,
no, I haven't watched it.
When
yet.
Kiko called me back, I'm like this on the phone, and like it was insane. And his lights, you should have seen. Like he actually came up on the screen, and it would look like he was like under the stairs, hiding from the murderer.
Yeah, like with
type
candles
of
and shit. And I'm just like, hello, I don't know where I am, but I'm alive.
I'm alive.
But so she told me that, and I was like, oh, I wasn't even aware that she was actually listening to this instead of watching it. But podcast is an explosion, and I was telling Steven when we started, like because he wasn't into podcasts, but I was like, this is a great thing to do. Like if you're going to work, right? There's an hour ride. Like
Usually,
it's
yeah.
dead, you know. So instead of listening to music, I love music, but I just prefer to put something that's either gonna entertain or educate me. I have a lot of audiobooks too, so that's also a great choice. Yeah. But the podcast is a bit more. I think it's less engaging. Like when you're working out and you're listening to the Broskiedoodles, you don't have to listen to every fucking second of us. You know, you could daze out while you're doing like your third rep, and then you're like, oh, what the fuck are they saying? You're not gonna miss like some Harvard shit, you know, like
some statistical data, bro.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, you can catch up.
What was that link? Shit.
www what?
I'm never gonna catch up. So I guess that's what podcasts in general are for. I mean, there are more that are more like educative, and you do want to listen, but that's a great thing. I use it when I'm working out. I would even use it when I'm riding bike, but you know, it's a bit dangerous if you're in the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true.
But yeah, I mean, and there's so much stuff going on all the time. I mean, recently we in Beirut, there's so many different things that like it's an evolving topic. Like at least our niche is like current event and controversial topic, I guess would be like how I would categorize us a little bit. So
I agree.
It's a lot of stuff to talk about.
On that, Steven, I mean, this is not that current because it did happen not that I think a week or so ago, but there was that explosion in Beirut, which at the beginning people thought it was like fireworks, and then but like people.
I remember there was fireworks. There was like
because they said it was like a shipment of fireworks that like exploded, but then it came to the light that it was actually nitrate oxide. Is that it,
some
Steve?
chemical?
Yeah, like I think it's nitrate oxide, and they had been told, Steven, is it nitrate oxide?
Yeah, it was like a ammonium something or other. Let me look it up.
Nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, CO2.
You could tell me that you didn't know. Like
I didn't
it's
know.
Not like it's not like the Broskiedoodles are gonna feel let down. Like Steven's like fuck
ammonium.
It's like ammonium transcomfium, some underconium, draconium,
hydrogen.
Dracolium, explosion.
Bringing you facts.
Ammonium nitrate. That's what it is.
Okay.
No, for real?
I think I said
3,000
oxide
tons.
nitrates. 3,000
tons. 3,000 tons of ammonium nitrate, and basically that was a nuclear, not a nuclear bomb, but a bomb just underneath the city. I mean, did you guys see the photos? Freaking, it looked like somebody took a bite out of the peninsula.
That's why I started. You know, every time there's big news, you start seeing all this explanation from all the sources, right? And when I saw the pictures, I'm like, crap, maybe one of those are right. That looks scary. That mushroom, that looked like some serious thing. But, you know, I'm not a chemist. I don't know about this, I guess, ingredient and what it does. So I guess, obviously, it makes sense. I mean, maybe that's not the truth.
Well,
I mean, I think in the
That's
beginning
what they want us to believe.
Apparently, like this is not something where I know, Aniela, you like to go into conspiracies. But
I do love to find like a second weird angle to fucking everything.
But apparently, this story is very clear. It was a government filled with corruption that doesn't follow any security parameters. They had been told for many months that there had been reports that there's an alarmist. Is that an alarmist? amount of nitric oxide.
I'm pretty sure it's alarming.
I feel like I'm back in English school.
Why don't you say, bro? Why don't you say like a large amount? Why you gotta go be all smart and stuff?
No, because I'm trying to say, an alarming.
An alarming
amount. Yeah. No, it was important to say that word. Alarming. Because they were like, hey, dude, you guys got to move this material out of here because this shit is like, it's going to explode at any minute. They told them that 15 months before. They had filled a report. They were like, fuck it.
Yeah.
We're not going to pay. We don't have money to move that shit right now. I'm stealing too much money.
Nobody got time for that.
And it exploded. And this is something, it reminds me of Chernobyl. I don't even know what's the situation in that country. I'm pretty sure there's some like turmoil, civil. There's got to be some shit going on. But whatever it is, there's definitely corruption and lack of regulations in the way that the government works. And this happens all the time. And the fucked up part of it is in Beirut, it only affected the people that lived there, which is already fucked up enough. Like, that's fucked. Like a lot of many innocent people died. It was a horrible accident, right? But then you have a situation like Chernobyl, which if you haven't seen the HBO 5-episode special on Chernobyl, man,
not sponsored.
It's amazing. HBO definitely not gonna sponsor us, but if you do, we'll make it cheap for you. But it explains. Do you guys know the story of Chernobyl?
I'll
elaborate.
Elaborate, yeah.
But quickly, it was like back in the 80s. It was in the 80s. The Russians were dealing with a lot of nuclear plants, right? And then nuclear energy, even though it sounds like horrible because it's always linked to some fucked up accident, it's actually a really good form of energy. Like, it's really cheap, and pretty much you either fuse or you diffuse atoms that creates heat. And pretty much all it is you have a big boiler that the water evaporates, and the steam moves a turbine, and that creates energy. Like, the way that it works is very much like any way of collecting energy. It's always something that moves a turbine, and that collects electricity. In the case of a dam, the water is the one that falls in and moves some things. With wind, it's the same shit. It's always moving something by nature, and then we collect that and harness that energy. So in nuclear, it's just we have this thing. It's like a magical thing that happens when we do this that creates heat, and that heat boils the water, and that water goes to a steam, and it moves a thing. So that's all it is, right? But it's very cheap to do this, but you do have to have it all in a very controlled manner. So what had happened is, just like I've seen this happen in Venezuela, where you have corruption and you don't have incentives, you start not paying attention to regulations, to security things. So what happened in Chernobyl, they had this plant, they never gave it right maintenance, and they didn't really know how to do it properly, and it ended up getting really hot, and they couldn't contain it, and it exploded, and all the radiation underneath it escaped to the atmosphere, and that shit reached all of Europe. So this is a situation where you have a government that is inefficient, and they end up having an accident that not only affects your people, like in Beirut, it affects the whole continent. And that's how, like, it's dangerous when you have things like this. In Venezuela, they just had a spill. An oiler ship spilled a bunch of petroleum. And that happens in countries where the people that rule it don't give a fuck about
they don't give a fuck,
man. Like, the whole nature in Venezuela is being destroyed. And this doesn't affect just Venezuela. The oil doesn't care about borders. It's going to get to Colombia, too. It's going to get to Brazil, too. Like, this is a fucked up situation that now that technology is getting bigger, is getting really alarming. There's a bunch of the water, like the oceans. I know that this is like, you always hear the pollution, but I was recently listening to some things and watching some documentaries, and it's scary, bro. You don't even think about it because there's no fix to it. The water is so polluted, and it's going to be so much polluted in the future that it's scary to think, how... But it's always like these accidents, these things that happen because some people just don't give a fuck,
Yeah.
So you say 100% the government was at blame for this accident?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Definitely.
I mean,
which sucks because, here's people trusting the government to take care of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here you are at the hands of the people that really couldn't give three fucks about you.
And then they make up some like conspiracy shit so that people don't like.
So that people like me could be like, wow,
can have a fun Saturday.
Ooh, like.
Yeah, I mean it's
fact check.
I think just as much as we are focused on benefiting ourselves through technology, self-driving vehicles, this and that, you know what I mean? Which, to a certain degree, especially electric vehicles, is going to be better for us in the future. But I think that we, like Elon Musk, and if Bill Gates really gave a fuck, you know, because a lot of people think Bill Gates is behind a lot of dirty little secrets. We should be using these geniuses to develop automated, I don't know, ocean cleanup, take that dirty energy and make it clean. I mean, you know, and start to make that more and more efficient, so that I just think that we're spending millions and billions of dollars on things that we're not going to extend the life of the planet and ourselves in it. You know, I think that would be
well,
kind of...
have you guys seen, I think there's like, I think he's in Netflix. It's like a Bill Gates special.
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't seen it.
The
What
TED
about
Talk?
No. The what?
Is it the TED Talk?
No, it's like, I want to say it's Bill Gates. It's Bill and Melinda, right? Yeah. It's him, and like, I only watched like one episode, but he goes to like a very small village where they're having problems with plumbing, and kids are getting sick because, you know, they're getting in the lake or whatever body of water they have, and they're getting in there to play. And this is the same water where like all their like feces are going into, all their garbage is going to, because they don't have a proper like plumbing, or in their watering system they don't have a toilet, so they have to go and like, you know, go in the ground, and that sinks them, so they're having like this terrible nasty water, and it's killing a whole bunch of people, especially kids. So he goes over there and he hosts this like event for like geniuses all over. I think it's all over the world. I can't remember this, so don't quote me on any of this.
Facts.
Oh shit. No website link to this. But it's like this huge competition where like all these geniuses compete to create like the first toilet that's like waterless. Or like the reuses the same water, you can put like dirty water on it. So like I think like when you're that level of rich or like that level of genius, man, like give it back to the people, bro, because we really need you. Because the kind of people they're just, I wish we were all that smart, but we're not, and we really need them to kind of help us, like you said, fix some of these problems we have. Like it's not just the environment, but all these problems, like the prison system is. That's a fucking joke. Yeah. Welfare system, as you guys have talked about it. Like, there's all these problems we have, and if we could use that intensive brain that I have and use it for other things, that'd be great. We just, the government is too busy making money, right? To kind of worry about all these other things. And they're like, oh, by then I'll be dead, so who gives a fuck about global warming, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, we talk about global warming, and it's definitely an issue, but we have issues that are more at hand. Like, there's this problem where like all the ships that were destroyed in World War II in the water, there's over 8,000 World War II ships that were sunk, right? And they had fuel, like petroleum or whatever it was, like. And bro, all these ships are in the bottom of the ocean. And there's thousands and thousands of tons of fuel in the water in like tanks or whatever. And after 70 years that has passed now, all that metal that is holding this fuel is almost corrosed to the point where there's already leaks, right? Like this is something that nobody ever hears. I recently saw a documentary on this, and it's insane, bro. The amount of fuel that's in the water, and that if it doesn't get removed, it's gonna cause like a big issue, bro. The whole water is gonna be contaminated. And they were doing like little tests. Like you grab a water and you put just one drop of like petroleum on it, and they had like these little crabs that are like the start of the ecosystem in the water. Like they're one of the smallest things that can get eaten. So if that doesn't exist, like it sort of like unchains this whole series of events that causes no food, no whatever. And dude, these things die like and there's so much oil in the water. Like you already hear like spills, there's like oil spills and stuff. This is like 1,000 times worse, and you would never think that this happened because we were trying to like kill each other in World War II. But there's a bunch of oil in the water. There's rivers that have like all this, like in Indonesia, in Vietnam. There's rivers that have fabrics throwing all of the like chemical waste in the rivers, and that goes into the sea. Dude, there's shit that you see and you're like, oh, we're fucked. Like like global warming, no, we're gonna die way before that. Like
probably, you're right.
If you look at the shit that's going on in the world.
I did not know that. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to watch these mysterious Netflix things you guys are watching. I don't watch enough TV. Apparently.
Mysterious.
Clearly you haven't been, bored.
No.
You've been busy during quarantine, bro.
I need to be bored. I need more boredom in my life, for real.
Steven's like, all right, I guess I'm gonna search for this mysterious
weird
documentaries.
Netflix.
I mean, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I was in South Beach the other day. The beaches are just fine, so I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. But
the water is crystal clear, so
beautiful.
Kiko, get the fuck out of here.
There's sharks everywhere. I'm pretty sure they're fine. Fuck you, Kiko.
Trump,
goddammit.
Trump 2020. That's why I like my politics like I like my beer. Cold.
So politics.
No.
Do you like? How do you guys feel about? Are you strongly stand on one side of the coin, or do you like talking about politics? Some people get offended when you're from a party. It's so easily for people to get like so sensitive about anything that it's kind of hard to pick a choice, which I guess is where I am at. But I'll let you guys tell me what you guys think.
Well,
first.
the Broskiedoodles, we're in the side of whoever wants to sponsor. So if the Democratic or Republican Party are looking,
then we're fucking Democrats, or whatever they want us to be.
Hey man, right now we're looking for money because we're the Broskiedoodles. We're broke. Okay, we started from the bottom and now we're here, still at the bottom,
here.
but a little bit higher, and we're trying to so if it's the Libertarian Party, the fucking Greenpeace, the Tea Party, does that exist? The Whiskey Party, whatever the fuck.
I'll tell you, I'd be the Whiskey Party. Hell yeah.
I always, you pay us and we'll fucking
talk about whatever you want to talk about. You can call this U.S. mainstream media because we'll do just what they do.
Man, where the
Give
money
us the money and we'll talk about it.
The only reason why we haven't sold our souls is because nobody has given us a price yet. We all got a price. We're not I'm saying, Steven, right? Like we haven't really sold our integrity because nobody has given us a price. But as soon as somebody comes along and it's like, hey,
look at his crowd, look at his crowd, look at this guy, bro.
I'm not affiliated in any way or anything, but like I think I lean more to the right.
It's great, bro.
Not so much.
Well, Steven is he's super Trump. No, I don't know. We'll elaborate on that. Trump. I think it's a very interesting topic, and I think what you're thinking right now of like not being sure where to go in the political spectrum is super understandable, because I myself feel like a man with no land when it comes to politics, right? Because I'm very fiscally conservative, so anything that has to do with cutting taxes, cutting regulations, and just liberating the market and helping private people make business, that's mostly on the right all the time. But then on the social side, it's like, it's not that I support specifically like gay marriage or all of that, which I'm cool with, and I'm super happy that people find love, and that's super cool. But I come from a part where it's like, I just don't care what you do with your life, like personally, like to me, your sexuality is like, how do you brush your teeth? Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, we go out and have a few drinks. Unless you have bad breath, if anything, I care more about how you brush your teeth than your sexuality, because brushing your teeth can actually cause effect on me, right? Like if you have bad breath or whatever. So I guess what I'm trying to say, socially, I want people to be happy and the rights that they want to have, all that, everyone's equal. But then on the side of economics, I want lower taxes. I want people to have freedom to do what they want with their money and like spend it on what they want. We were having a talk about like schools, right? in public schools, I prefer there to be a voucher program where instead of you being obligated to go to the shitty public school in your district because you're poor, instead the government gives you that money and you can take it to a better school and put the extra money if you want. But I just think that when you have choices, it gives incentives for companies to become cheaper and provide a better service. So that's me in a nutshell. I don't know, Steve, how you would define yourself, except
gun-toting Republican. No, I don't have a gun. But for me, like, I just feel like I work really hard every day, and I try to provide for my family as much as I possibly can, and when I see, I'm all about helping people. Believe me, like I'll sit here for an hour or more, just trying to help you learn or something. But I'm a big believer of like teach a man how to fish, so that he can take care of himself. I'm not really the person who wants to keep fishing for you. So I find that's like one of my strongest. That's one of my strongest reasons for being on the Republican side, because the Democrats want to do a lot of handouts, and again, I'm okay with helping somebody out. I just don't feel like there's enough incentive for those same people to stop asking for those or stop needing those handouts, and so that's what makes me this side. However, I know we were joking about this whole thing here just a moment ago, but to be honest with you, I don't care that this next election for me isn't about Trump. It's about not going to that side that I was just mentioning. Like I'm not trying to be everybody like, don't worry, we're all going to take care of each other. Like, no, you need to take care of yourself, and the more that everybody takes care of themselves, the better we are as a whole, but if you're not about that, then that's fine. So I wanted to like stop. I don't think that Trump is a guy that I would kick back and have a beer with, but he's not a politician. And so like one of the things that and even then he's still a little political, right? Like he has to put on this like, oh yeah, I'm a really religious guy. Why does he have to act like he's a religious guy? Because he's going to lose a lot of the votes that is going to make him get to office. And that sucks, right? That sucks, the fact that you got to act like you're something that you're not. He probably doesn't give a shit about gays or about abortion or about any of that. He's probably like, yeah, whatever. I'm assuming. But he has to look like he cares, because that's what's going to get him to where he needs to be. And I'm about being like, I'm like Kiko, like, dude, I have gay family. I have, people I know people who've had abortions, and it's like, and because they wanted to, we talked about it in our last podcast, the ability to make that choice. And I don't care if you get an abortion. I just don't want to pay for it. Like, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think that if you're going to make decisions in your life, that you should take responsibility for how to make that outcome happen. You know what I mean? So if I want to be rich, I got to work hard to be rich. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be like trying to figure out, oh well, I can apply for unemployment, I can sign up for these food stamps, and I could do this, and like that, I'm rich enough. No,
how do you see yourself, Daniela?
I am registered as an independent just because I can't, man. I can't, like, I honestly, I see, like, when it comes to, let's say, gun control or gun rights, both of the parties are so different, but I definitely align myself with Republican Party because I want to have my right to bear guns. If I want to have a gun, I should be able to. Do I think it should be harder to get a gun so crazy people hopefully don't end up with a fire weapon? Yes. And then I see some other things where, like, you touched on abortion, where it's like, I mean, first of all, I think there should be a separation of church and state. I don't think we should be touching anything religious. There should be any laws regarding any religion, faith you choose. So, I mean, abortion is a topic for me that I feel like I should be able to have an abortion if I want to. Okay. But then again, I agree, you should pay for it.
Yeah, like there's so many programs that you just fund that, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna pay for
I don't need to rely.
I mean, if you're in a situation, right, and this is not personally, but if your girl is like, all right, can you go half with me on the abortion, or you're gonna raise this kid? I'll be like, fuck it, I'll help you out. Like, You know what I mean? Like, Steven, you're like, you pay for it. I'm like, fuck, man, I'll help pay for it now. I don't have to pay child support for 18 years.
I mean, but with that being said, there is a huge other issue where, like, there's probably that child that did have sex and really can't afford to get an abortion, and the last thing we need is another unwanted kid coming, to a house that's probably not going to have a father, because you guys know that that's just breeding, a house that doesn't have a father, the kids are, it's just, you put them on a disadvantage. Okay. And it's just facts. I'm not saying anything, but...
No, yeah. And this is actually, we can actually probably get into an entire conversation about this, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, Kiko, I would go half with with whoever it is. I would go half. I don't want to seem like I'm not that guy. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to go half with everybody who decides to do it. You get what I'm saying? Like I. Oh,
you mean like if you didn't cause it?
My tax money. I don't want that to go to that.
Dude, the whole time I was thinking that you're like,
oh my god, I'm gonna have to find a new co-host.
Get an abortion, that's fine, but
you're gonna have to pay it somebody else. Dude, like, I don't care if I got you pregnant, girl. Go figure it out. That ain't my kid. And I don't know you.
I was like, oh, I mean, I was just like, all right, I respect that, but I mean, it is a bit. I mean, out of
Steve.
Out of a good gesture, I will at least match you
at
up.
At least half of it, man.
Throw down a 20 on it, right? Or something.
You can at least drive her there, yo.
Yeah. No, I know.
I mean?
No, it's
like we'll have on the Uber.
Yeah.
At least.
No, but you know what, Steven? This is another thing, because I'm not for social programs, but what do we prefer? And this is a delicate topic, so I don't want to.
I mean, you should at least only have like one per life paid for, like one.
Right?
There you go.
You think you should have like a little scratch thing where like
here's
one,
exactly one,
and you can you can earn one. You can earn an additional one depending on like your credit score, like how you do it. You can earn an additional.
But that's my point, right? Like, if you can't afford it, can't you just get a credit card? Like, go and fucking. You know what I mean? Like, get a credit card. I don't know. I don't know. I've never been there.
Pig.
I'm just thinking like
just consumption, right? Just consumption. Go on debt,
dude.
Just get a fucking card. Correct. Typical Republican.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Put a financial institution inside the abortion
and get
clinic.
Some credit,
dude.
You go into the clinic, guys giving you flyers like, "Hey, have you financed your abortion
apply
already?"
for a credit card.
Hey, you know what? If this shit don't work out, I'm gonna be handing out credit card applications.
You know what? You know what's gonna feel fucked up? Having layaways, like having monthly payments on an abortion, just reminding you every day.
Hey, that won't change people's mind. Say that won't change people's mind though. You think twice next time you fucking don't want to pull out.
That is true though. What if you go to the abortion and they're like, you don't have money for it? That's cool. It costs $10,000. You're gonna have to pay it.
$10,000,
okay, whatever. What do you think?
I don't know how much that is, but it's probably 3, not 10,000.
It's literally probably no. I know that they range. Let's fucking Google it. I'm gonna bet it's I'm gonna bet it's less than $1,000. How?
It can't be that expensive.
Why are you searching? Like, is this information you can just find on Priceline? Like, this guy's just like.
I'm sure we can just Google it.
Look at this. The procedure results in an abortion similar to a miscarriage. Average cost is around $480. However, costs vary depending on provider and can be anywhere from $300 to $800 where it's offered.
Damn.
Dude, I mean, you're not going to be that crazy, you know what I mean, breaking the bank that crazy.
I mean, like, that's like, no more than $15 per month, but enough to remind you, like, are you gonna fuck up again?
You sure?
All right, like, do you want to do this again?
And they can make it like student loans where you can't bankruptcy out of it.
Fucking student loans, bro.
No, right? Ain't nobody fucking give a shit. They don't give a shit about the student who's trying to prevent or trying to progress themselves, but they're gonna put on a monthly payment attached to your social security card.
Sorry, go on.
With that being said, I think that we just need to be focusing on, like, educating these girls so they don't get pregnant. Like, let's go back to, focusing more on education, educating our kids to make right choices so we don't have,
WAP.
guys, people on this, hell yeah, WAP, or gangsters, or, people robbing. Let's encourage education. Let's give credits for going to school. Hell yeah, go to school, man. Get yourself educated. Get yourself out of that poverty lifestyle, because do you guys think that everyone has the same opportunity to make it out of whatever life they're at?
Yes, 100%.
No, I don't think so, because, for example, if you, Steven, were born with a family that had money to put you through a better school and I didn't, then we're not equal. However, I don't think that's unfair. I think nobody's born equal. I think you're equal in the eyes of God. Like, I mean, I'm not religious, but like as a way of saying it, like everyone's worth. But you know, if you were born in Venezuela or if you were born in Ohio, you're gonna have different opportunities, and that's just. I think, unfortunately, coming from like us, like Latino culture, it's like you cannot do anything about what step you're born in, right? Like in the ladder of success, you don't decide where you're born in, but you can decide how much you go forward from that point. And I think that's the only thing you can really control. What do you think, Steve?
The amount of opportunities will not be equal, but the same amount of progression is equal. What I mean is, if you are born in Ohio, you can do things to be moved to the Hamptons. And if you're born in the hood, you can make your way to Ohio. You see what I'm saying? So like, you can move in life. I mean, obviously there's exponential growth once you have money, and it's like your jumps are bigger, right? It's like going viral, like you jump. But what I mean is that you can get out of a bad situation. You're not stuck there forever. You're just not. I feel like if there were more people who cared more about the people in politics rather than lining their own pockets for when they get out of office or whatever. Like for instance, you just brought up a great point, Daniela. If you were able to provide food stamps to those people who you can answer that. If you were able to provide food stamps to those people,
sorry,
yeah,
that's fine.
Hold yours by.
Keep doing your thing.
My love. I'm still recording.
This is part of the Broskiedoodles.
Yeah.
This happens.
Should I continue, or because I was just gonna act like she was here?
No, you can wait. But dude, the whole abortion thing. The thing is, I don't want it to sound like we're not taking it delicately, but you made a great point, bro. Like I was thinking, like, shouldn't we pay for it so that we don't have to pay for the welfare of the kid later? But then you're not teaching the person, right? And
just
I
do it
understand
over and do
that
it over and do it again.
There's cases where it wasn't their fault, but that's what you get one, right? But it doesn't it sound like, I mean, we're here joking around and shit, but
even if it wasn't, even if it was
sense.
like, if maybe you're prone to rape, let's just say, right? How many people are prone to rape? Like, you know, like, oh, I'm a klutz, I'm prone to hurt myself, oh, I'm prone to get raped. Like, okay, how many of you are there out there?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't think you get raped based on how prone you are, but I don't.
Well,
but
I'm
I get
just
what
saying,
you mean.
like you just mentioned it. I know there's situations where it's not their fault. Okay, when would it not be their fault? When it was against their will. Okay, how many people are having this situation against their will? And then compare that to the people who just don't give a fuck, and you know what I mean. So
yeah.
So,
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. Where was I?
No, you were saying about the abortions? No.
No,
If you can fix it so you can educate. That's where
so if you were to say, if you were to give people, if you were to say, parents, you want, let's say, money per month, or parents, you want food on their table. Okay. I want you to send your child to school, and he has to have a certain amount of attendance in school in order for me to cut your food stamp checks. You literally take away you say, you're not going to send your kids to school. I'm not going to give you money. I'm not going to give you money for your food. You can find it on your own. I guarantee you those parents are going to be like, you get your ass in school. You stop fucking skipping school. You start teaching good morals. And then, just by proxy, you're going to eventually have more people who are educated because they're fucking forced to be in school. And that same less fortunate kid will know more at the end of his life just because he was around more, around school more, around learning more, even if he doesn't have to be a fucking genius. But when you do that and you multiply that by thousands and thousands and thousands of people, you start to have a little bit smarter.
Like in Spain, people here, you have a problem because people don't want to have kids. You want to get to that point. You know what I mean?
No more kids. You
want to get to the point where your problem is people are not having enough kids. Because believe me, I know, I've seen the problem In Latin America, you see the problem of people having too many kids. So I think a shift in culture, what you're explaining here, obviously that's a fix on the long run. We also need, I guess, some things in the short run, but that's definitely.
I mean, yeah, because I think it's just we're so used to handing out things, right? Like handing. You don't have to do anything. You don't have a job. Here's money. You're looking for like shitty jobs. All right, that's fine. We'll keep giving you money instead of like incentivizing people to like, we'll pay you to go to a technical school so you can learn how to be a mechanic, man. Go make some money. Like, I just think the way we're helping, which is like giving people money, that's going to the garbage because people don't know what to do with that money. I'm assuming if you give someone that went bankrupt money again, they're probably going to end up bankrupt again. You need to give that person education so they don't end up in the same place again. Which I think is a lot of what we lack. And we have the resources
to do it. We can do it. Like as a country, I mean, the U.S., I'm not speaking for the world, but we can definitely do it. It exists. There's money. We're blowing money into programs that don't have enough return on investment, and it's just the way it is. I mean, like, I don't understand why people. It's like you have to future proof. You have to future proof yourself, right? Like, for instance, my godfather, who is on the news, I mentioned, he had to, I only bring that up because he had to really like dedicate himself to being healthy. Well, he said, what I do is that I go to bed in my gym clothes, or I bring my clothes with me to work, and I find a gym that I have to pass on the way home. That way I stop I am putting stuff in my way where I need to, I'm not going to want to do it if I have to drive around the block. But if I pass it right here, there's no excuse for me to do it. And so he holds himself accountable like that. We're not holding ourselves accountable. And one party definitely incentivizes it more than the other. That's why I'm
to give some conclusion to this. And I think I think we hit the nail, which is we should go by. First of all, we should go by topics and not like, are you of this whole party or this whole party? Well, how about we go by each issue, right? Mm-hmm. And secondly, we need accountability, right? We need people to also like work hard for themselves. Obviously, there's people that cannot take care of themselves, and that's a different story. But the ones that can need to get out of their ass. To conclude and give some conclusion to our listeners for this upcoming elections, what are you guys' predictions?
I don't know. It's.
I'm thinking Trump in the third quarter.
Who do you think is going to win?
It's hard. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I don't know.
Biden is not, I think, the best candidate for someone like Trump. But I think people are a little enraged. So I don't know. I think I really don't know. And his now BP choice is not helping. We'll see. We'll see.
Biden?
We'll see.
Biden?
We'll see.
I don't even know, but I hear she's a major communist. I don't know, but that could just be because I listen to a lot of Fox.
We'll see. We'll see.
I don't want to hold her to that, but and hey, you know what? Women are way more organized. I don't mind a woman president. I really don't. Like it's not, but I don't want somebody who's not. I don't know. Yeah, actually, I don't know who she is. But anyways, to conclude the topic, I don't think Biden's an afterthought. Biden is in place for the Obama vote. That's it.
Yeah,
Biden's there because they want the people who voted for Obama because they're big enough to take on Trump. Oh, by the way, I don't even know who this lady is. So where's her following?
No, I think it's definitely sleeping. It's definitely a diversity pick. And dude, you know what's funny? You just said sleepy, bro. What you said, Daniela, is true. Like against Trump, because Trump doesn't play for the rules, right? He doesn't give a fuck about the rules. Yeah, dude, you know how he calls him when they're interviewing him now? Because he's in election mode. Yeah, he's like, Sleepy Joe.
I literally got this in the mail, okay, from Donald Trump.
What is this?
And I'm gonna read this right here. Look, it says right here. Make no mistake, the future of our America First agenda and our vision to keep America great are both at stake in the upcoming elections. Sleepy Joe and the Democrats are focusing on issues that would push our country to the far left with their big government socialist schemes of higher taxes, open borders, government-run healthcare, and $100 trillion in Green New Deal. Signed.
Yo,
Mr.
He don't
Mr.
give
President,
a fuck, man.
You don't give a
Bro,
fuck.
Kiko, you remember how you
And
were
I kinda
saying
respect
how he was saying that, like, you know, sometimes I'm like a little stupid on Twitter because like it goes from my head to the phone and boop, it's all over. You think with a letter, bro, he would have a little more brains. You know, you have some more time to think about it before you print it.
But he wants to be like that. He wants to, because he's not playing the rules. So he's like, you guys do all the politics you want, and I'm going to play this savage game where I'm just like, oh, really? You want to do this and that? Okay, but you're sleepy and you cannot speak.
Yeah.
As savage as him.
Dude,
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton was trying to go at him with like topics and like actual policies, and then he's just like, well, your husband raped women and shit, and she's just like, oh, fuck. I don't even know. She's like, I don't even know that you could do that, like that you could go there. You know? He's like,
She's like, what is he doing? What kind of game are you playing? This is politics. And he's like, I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. You're a bitch.
Well,
your
that's-
husband is a rapist. And what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean...
You guys like kids?
Yeah.
Where's Jeffrey?
My boy Jeff?
Some shit's going on, bro. Some shit's going on. We're gonna have to have a conspiracy episode with Daniela, but well, that's our predictions for now. I think Donald's gonna get it just because Sleepy Joe is just not, you know, he's not there.
Bro.
Yeah, he's sleeping. He's sleeping on it. But well, it has been fun, guys. Thanks a lot. It has been a great episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Daniela, any last words?
No,
Before we
nothing
kill you.
from me. No. Broskiedoodles is equal. What is it? Equally gender, whatever plays.
Yeah, we're all about diversity, inclusion.
We don't hate nobody.
Anything.
We're okay with all the colors, all the genders, or non-genders, or whatever it is your people are nowadays. Because people can be apples, or
You
I
can
don't
be
know.
anything you want.
Yeah. I'm a flower.
Yeah, this is looking blue.
But
Peace out,
thank you,
guys.
Daniela,
Take
for
care.
coming in.
Thank you guys for having me.
Peace. Thank you.